Good morning. We're continuing looking at First Peter, and I want to remind you about the nature of First Peter focusing on our life as exiles, because one of the things that we're going to see in verses 8 and 9 of First Peter 3 is what it means to have, we'll call them otherworldly relationships, meaning relationships that don't look like the world, relationships that look like the kind that exiles together should have. And so I want to begin in verse 8, and we're going to just read verse 8, and we're actually not going to even cover all of verse 8, because what we're going to see is that there's really 6 ingredients to forming otherworldly relationships in verses 8 and 9. And here we'll focus on just a couple. Verse 8, finally all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. All of you, all of these exiles, going back to the beginning of the letter here that he writes, he wants these Christians who are in the world, who are trying to be different than the world so that they can be on mission, to have a particular understanding of how their relationships to one another are formed. I want to share with you a quote as I begin from New Testament scholar Luke Timothy Johnson in his book Sharing Possessions. The persons we meet in this world, and among whom we dwell, and with whom we live, these bear the stamp of the image of God. They are the icons through whom we discern the face of the Father. That last part may cause you to pause because he uses the term icons. Don't let it cause you to pause. He's not saying we worship. He's saying that they are the representations through whom we see the face of the Father. I think this is really important for you to think about. When we interact with each other, we're saying something about how we see God. So with that in mind, let's just mention the first couple ingredients here of these 6 ingredients. Finally, all of you have unity of mind is the first statement. That term is homophrones. Phroneo is the word for mind. Homo means same mind. It's not that there's sort of a unanimity on everything. It's not that we're against diversity, or we should be against diversity at all, and diversity of opinion. In fact, we need diversity of skills and gifts and abilities and talents and personalities and passions and ethnicities and perspectives and all of those things. But what we do need is a unity of purpose. We need a unity of allegiance. We need a unity in terms of our ultimate passion, our ultimate desire, unity in terms of our overall philosophy and goals. We have to have a direction where we're of the same mind with one another, in that we're saturated with the mind of Christ. Now that mind of Christ gives birth to a number of things, some of which are hearkened to a little later on here. Secondly, he says, have unity of mind and have sympathy. Sim, meaning together or with, and pathos, passions. The idea here is to get into another's shoes, to come alongside them, and to feel with them, to connect with them in a relationship, and to feel their pain and their suffering. So the first 2 ingredients for having otherworldly relationships are a kind of mental unity where we have the same mind, we're heading the same direction, we have the same focus in that way because we're saturated by the same gospel and have the same Lord. And we have sympathy. We come alongside another and we feel alongside them. And in that way we can sympathize. We can feel together. We can suffer together. May the Lord bless you as you think about how those ingredients can inform your relationships with your fellow exiles.